So Polyseam, as I mentioned briefly, established in Huddersfield, 22 years history when we started working with them. They're a manufacturer of own brand products. So what I mean by that is that you would never see a tube of Polyseam adhesive or sealant on the shelf, but all of their manufactured products, they made stuff that went into B&Q own brand, Homebase own brand, Wix's, and on the right-hand side you can see a whole host of branded products, some of which you might be familiar with. I think it was in 2008, there was a Which survey on leading adhesives in the market, and Polyseam were actually the manufacturer of six of the top 10 products. And interestingly, they were all exactly the same. So even though they'd been graded and measured in different ways, they were all exactly the same product. But hopefully that just gives you an idea of what they did and what they do. There'd been some changes. There'd been some changes in UK manufacturing for a number of years, very much around manufacturing going overseas, but also a number of the brands for whom they were working were starting to take manufacturing in-house. So Polyseam found themselves in a very short space of time moving from a 20 million turnover company to a 5 million turnover company. And that was forced really by not only those trends going on in the brand space, but also the recession that hit us had further impacts in terms of brands outsourcing manufacturing overseas. So we're back to IPT, their hero product. They had a number of great chemists working within the business, and a pretty entrepreneurial CEO had sort of given this brief to come up with something new. So IPT was going to be their hero. We met the CEO in our second meeting, who informed us that this product needed to be responsible for turning over £100 million worth of revenue over the next X number of years. So it was a relatively ambitious project for the firm and quite a challenging brief for us, which started, as I say, from how do we sell this product. We knew that it needed to stand out and be differentiated. It needed to stand head and shoulders above the rest. And I say that because on the shelves, we will all be familiar with the kind of clutter that goes on in this particular area. I think that's really, really confusing for the trade, but it's certainly confusing for the DIYer. And certainly me, for one, walking into somewhere like B&Q, in the interest of buying a sealant or an MS polymer or a silicone, whatever your product might be.
You've become something of an expert
You've
on
got
these matters.
No chance. But yeah, that just chips out of my tongue these days. So our starting point was okay. So I think we really need to understand what this product is. If we're being briefed to create this product that is going to be responsible for such a high level of turnover, I think we need to do our homework. So as with all design projects, we started by gaining a really thorough understanding, Simon's talked about, of the landscape in which Polyseam were working. And that comprised lots of different research and insight techniques. We observed users using the product, professional tradesmen who were using it for the first time, as well as the DIY market. We looked at the competitive products that were out there and found hundreds upon hundreds of competitor products. We observed people in store buying products off the shelf to look at their behaviour, to talk to them about their experience in store. We talked to existing customers of Polyseam to understand their credentials as a manufacturer and current perceptions of the business in the marketplace. We tested the product ourselves, and our creative director went home and built a huge rifle, I think he called it, in their cellar with his son. Really, really importantly, we did lots and lots of telephone interviews with tradespeople. So people like plumbers, electricians, people that are out there using these products on a day-to-day basis. And that gave us some really, really good insight. I think if there's one thing that is to take away from today, from this little presentation, or maybe one thing that we should keep at the forefront of our minds at the engine room, is the importance of observing users and understanding user behaviour when you are developing these kind of products and looking to take them to market. Because some of the stuff that we found out was really interesting. I don't need to say, because it's really kind of clear from some of the images that we've looked at, that there isn't any distinction in this space at all. Manufacturers and brands of these kind of products are competing on the shelf by shouting really loud and putting lots and lots of information on their packaging, which provided hardly any opportunity for standout with a new product. There was certainly a need for something in this space, for trade maybe, but certainly also for DIYers, for something that would jump off the shelf and stand out, and yet a really tricky job, as I say, in such an overcrowded and complex space. We've looked at some of those pictures. Not only that, but we also found out that when speaking to the trade and observing tradesmen using the products, that actually maybe it wasn't such an easy to use product that Polyseam had talked to us about. Maybe it was quite tricky to apply it. Maybe it needed some techniques that actually the DIYer might not be so familiar with or capable of. But also there was a real resistance to change in the market. Tradesmen know their products, so they know what they like. And when we talked to them about their thoughts on a potential adhesive and sealant in one, we were met, if not sort of 95% of responses were, well, I trust an adhesive, I know what it does, and I trust a sealant, I know what it does. Why would I go and buy something that is purporting, I suppose, ostensibly to be all things to all people? So we needed to take that on board, because there was clearly a potential resistance before this product was even on the shelves. However, on the positive side, we found out lots of really, really good stuff. So we discovered that Polyseam had a really strong reputation amongst its customers, that the products that it made are extremely high quality. They're known and trusted in the marketplace from their customers. They're known for their technical expertise, and they, in their time, had been market leading, had certainly been a leader in the UK market, manufacturing these kind of products, selling internationally, and very, very genuine in their approach. And to add to that, strong credentials. Their innovation with IPT was showing that they had maybe an edge and were looking to move on to the next adventure and weren't sort of steeped in history. So that gave us some faith that there was really something strong to work with here. But also our research made us realise that internationally particularly, and specifically in Scandinavia, there was a real demand for some solvent-free products. So environmentally more friendly products than those currently on the shelf. And IPT was solvent-free. So that gave us a tick in the box somewhere along the line.